everyone, and thanks for joining me today for a talk about password management. And today we're going to be going over how to manage your passwords and also how to make your passwords stronger. And to start off, let's talk about why having a strong password is so important. So out of around 500,000 passwords, experts were able to crack about 51% of those within 1 day, 24 hours, and 88% of those passwords within 2 weeks. So with enough time and enough patience, these people will be able to sit there with a bot or however and crack your password. And also another important component of your password is the length of your password. So the average length of a password is about 8 characters, and the average time to crack an 8-character password is 7.5 minutes, a little more than 7.5 minutes. So again, with enough time and enough patience, it's doable. Even with a complex password, it's doable. As we have here in the middle of our screen, this is something that you definitely don't want to do, is have your passwords all over your desk or your work area, little post-its with different passwords for different accounts. Good practice to have different passwords for different accounts and different purposes. Bad idea to have a post-it with that information on it. Some other bad practices would be a notebook, a shared notebook or a personal notebook with all of your login information or account information. That's something that you definitely don't want to do. And also another part of having complicated passwords is that you have to remember them all. So how many times have you gotten this error message? You type in your password and then you're locked out because you've tried too many times. Like me, I forget my password all the time and I have to reset it. I have to go to an admin and say, hey, can you take time out of your day to reset my password? I forgot it. We're going to end that today with a password manager and how to make strong passwords. These password managers are really providing convenience for you. However, you are the first line of defense as far as your company or your organization's data goes. So you definitely don't want to be the weak link who's forgetting passwords or writing them somewhere, running the risk of exposing your company or your organization's data. So first, we're going to talk about strengthening your password. A strong password is the first step that you can take in deterring hackers from getting into your network. And some common mistakes when making a password is first that it's too short. As I said before, the average password is 8 characters long, 7.5 minutes to crack that password. Too short. You need something a little bit longer. Another common mistake is that it matches common dictionary words. So this would be something like password 1, princess, things like that. A common word is also predictable. So something that would be in alphabetical order, numerical order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those simple, predictable passwords, a no-go. So we are going to give you some tips on how to fix them. There's 3 things that you want to remember when you're making a password: to make it long, make it strong, and to make it unique. So a long password, that's at least 15 characters. So 15 characters is okay, 18 characters is better, and 20 characters is excellent. You really want to shoot for that 20-character password. A strong password is going to use variation. It's going to use some capital letters, some lowercase letters, some special characters, and also some numbers, and just to mix those up. And the last thing that you want to do is make it unique. So something that you can think of is, instead of using a word, you can start thinking something like a phrase. I love a clever twist of a phrase. You can have fun and make your password something clever, a little phrase that you say to yourself, however. But you can also take your password and make it stronger. You don't have to start from scratch. You can take what you have and make it better. So as I said before, there are some okay passwords, some better, and some excellent passwords. So first, let's take a look at some okay passwords. So the first, we have this Harley Best Rider. This could be for a motorcycle enthusiast, and we see that it's okay. It has some capitals, some lowercase, some special characters in there. Next, maybe we have a gamer, Warcrafter 9, and we do see some special characters and variation in there. And the last is Jellyfish with some numbers at the end, 10022, and we see that the I is replaced with an exclamation point. That's good. That's a good start. So these are okay passwords. Even better, though, if we see here highlighted in yellow, are the changes that we've made to this password to make it a little stronger. First one, we've added a letter at the beginning. We've replaced some characters with some special characters, some letters with some special characters. We also added some numbers at the end. In the second one, Warcrafter, we have some numbers at the beginning and the end, maybe the date of your birth year or something like that. And then in the last one, we have a little hashtag or £, a number, a letter replacing a number rather. So these are good. These are better passwords. These are better than just, some slight variations in words. But an excellent password, look how long these things are. So these are excellent passwords. We see some in the top, in the first one, that Harley Best Rider, symmetrical elements there with the numbers and letters and the special symbol. And then in the second one, we see that we've added a dictionary word, might be, but then if you see, we mixed up the letters in war. So that is also a way to keep your password unique. You can take a word that you know or that you've been using or that you like, and you can mix up letters of that word. And then at the end, this is my favorite one, a clever twist of a phrase. So jellyfish, who doesn't love a PB&J, peanut butter and jellyfish? Yum. So that's what I mean. You can really take some creative liberties with your password and make it fun. You don't have to, just have a boring mashup of numbers, letters, and special characters. You can really make it unique to you and something fun. But just remember, long, strong, unique. That's the key. That's the takeaway today. Long, strong, and unique password. There are some other precautions that you can take along with a strong password. There are some other things that you can do to enhance your security. One of those things is two-factor authentication. You can make it harder for attackers to get in by implementing multiple modes of authentication. So first, of course, you're going to use something that you know, which is your password. And then you're going to combine it with something you possess. So this would be an OTP or one-time password, and that is a code or a word sent via email or text or both. And with these two things, you are then granted access. So you would need your password and you would need that code. The code is unique to that one login, and you'll get a different one every time you log in. You type in that password, you'll get the code, put that in, and then you're granted access. What's great about this is that if a hacker does get your password and types it in, unless they have access also to your phone, they won't be able to get in. So that's that extra layer of security in using two-factor authentication. You'll also see maybe that's TFA or MFA, multi-factor authentication. Another thing that people may do to make their lives a little easier, autofill setting in your browser. And why it's risky is because autocomplete will fill in saved credentials, and it may track your activity without you knowing. So if there is a blank field to type in and plug in your information, autofill may just take the liberty to fill that in for you, and maybe you don't want to fill in those blanks. Maybe it's not something that you want to submit, or it may be the incorrect information for what you want for that specific platform or login. So that's why it's risky. What we do suggest is a better practice is, of course, a password manager, and we'll get into password managers in a minute. But first, let's talk about turning off your autofill in your browser. We have Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. These are just some common browsers that we at F8 know that our partners are using. So for Chrome, you're just going to open your settings window. You're going to click Advanced, and then you're going to select whatever settings under Managed Passwords that apply to you. So if you want to turn that off, you will just go in there and select turning off your autofill. In Firefox, there are a few more steps, but it's pretty simple as well, pretty straightforward. Going into Options, clicking Privacy, and under History, you will see Firefox will use custom settings for history. And then in the new window, after you click that, you will disable Remember Search and Form History. So that way it won't keep any information that you have previously done. And then in Safari, you are going to open up Preferences, select Autofill, and then turn it off. So very straightforward, very simple ways to just take those steps in securing your information. Simple things that you can do on your own. So now finally, using a password manager and the benefits of implementing a password manager. So this, again, makes it harder for attackers to use to get your information because you're implementing multiple modes of authentication. So these password managers help you get rid of your password notebook, that pesky piece of paper or all those Post-its all over. Maybe you have a note on your desktop, a digital kind of Post-it with those passwords. We want to get rid of that because anybody looking at your desktop or looking at your workstation can see those passwords. It's also a hassle to keep them up to date. Anytime you change your passwords, if you go into that book, you end up scribbling out and rewriting. It's hard to keep any order with those password notebooks. So we're going to stop that today. And these password managers, some of them also generate the passwords for you, which is great. So you don't have to, if you don't have any creative juices flowing, you don't have to worry about making your own long, strong, and unique password. The password manager will do that for you. So that's a bonus if you don't want to make your own password. And this also helps to share your passwords. So if you have a shared drive or shared account information, anything that you have a common login and password for, maybe that's written on a piece of paper, you can get rid of that, use the password manager, and that way all you have to do is put it in and then it manages that password for you. Really simple and great for admins who are always having to make sure that those passwords are known by everybody in your company or organization. It also gives you expiration reminders. Some platforms require you to change your password after a certain amount of days. This will remind you, hey, this is coming up, so maybe you want to do that to, your workflow instead of stopping and saying, hey, I have to change my password today. This reminds you ahead of time, hey, this is coming up. And if you're lucky, you'll get one that even does that for you, the password manager. And lastly, but certainly not least, all of these things put together increase your security and really helps lock down your network. Some password managers that we recommend at F8 would be LastPass, MyKeys, Zoho Vault, Password Boss, and there's a plethora of other platforms that you can use or applications. It's just a matter of finding one that works for you and your team, has the ability to accommodate the needs for your specific organization, and you can definitely reach out to F8 if you have any questions about those. However, the one caveat to this password manager situation is that you must remember your master password to your password manager, and then it does the rest. So you do have to have one good creative password, one long, strong, and unique password to your password manager, and then it does the rest. So you don't have to remember multiple passwords. It's just that one password to your password manager, and then you are working more easily and not having to remember all those passwords. So now we're going to go over a strong password checklist. These are the most basic things that you want to remember when you are creating your long, strong, and unique passwords. So the first one is it at least 15 characters long? Remember, 15 is a pretty good number to go with if 20 is too many for you. Then make sure that it's different from your previous 3 passwords. Last but certainly not least, we want to make sure that it contains characters from at least 2 of the following groups. Some passwords may require you to have all of these things, but a good strong password has at least 2. So that's variation in upper and lowercase letters, some numbers, and of course some special characters. An extra tip, as we mentioned before, is that you change your password every 90 days to keep your information secure. Again, sometimes you can keep your same password for however long you want if the platform or login does not make you change your password, but it's good practice to just keep that fresh and keep it changed, and of course keep it different from your not only your previous 3 passwords, but also from other passwords that you may be using on different platforms. So that's about it for today, and I'm going to leave you with a nice quote from Bruce Schneier, who is an American cryptographer, and that is that security is not a product, but a process. So this is a part of your process to keep your work environment secure and working more effectively and securely. Thank you again for joining us today. I had a lot of fun going over how to make your password long, strong, and unique. Please join us next time for our next talk on how to keep your workforce working more securely and more effectively and being more productive. Thanks again and have a good day. Bye-bye.